Welcome back to the Hollywood Hang, a podcast about the highs, lows, and hell no's of this crazy industry that we call Hollywood. I am Nick Curcio, one of your hosts.
And I am Tepper, one of your hosts. You saying your full name
I knew that was
threw
going
me
to throw you off.
off.
I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately, and people say their full names, and I was like, what if people want to know our full names?
Our government names?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they know yours now. They can find mine on Instagram.
Today we have yet another person that we are bringing to you straight from your phone. You've definitely seen his videos. Nathan Ramos-Park is a half Filipino, half Korean Gaysian from Ohio, a former competitive pianist, vocalist, beauty pageant winner, and nationally competitive jump roper. As a Capricorn, he's oddly not competitive. He is staffed and developed at the following places: Sony, Amazon, Nickelodeon, Disney, Netflix, Snap, Mainframe, Lionforge, and NBC, and loves drawing inspiration from his love of comedy, genre, music, and coming of age. He left a former life of teaching, performance, both off-Broadway and regionally, and the service industry to pursue writing in LA after winning a national playwriting competition, which was written on an iPad mini. As a singer and actor, he was nominated for a Webby and a Queerty for his song satires Woke Boys and Gay Asian Country Love Song. And his song When December Comes was named one of the top 17 Christmas songs of 2017 by 17. He participated in the 2020 CBS Showcase. Currently, he's just sold a true crime show to Sony. His Amazon rom-com 5 Blind Dates spent 6 weeks on the top 10 chart, and the subsequent remake, Picture This, starring Simone Ashley, was the #1 movie on Amazon Prime for 4 weeks. Nathan, I'm actually glad I read the long version because that was
okay, literally anyone listening, that is exactly what you want your bio pitch to be, because it's like, this guy could come into our jump roping room. This guy could come into the singing TV show we're working on, Glee remake. He's here.
I'm ready.
Chef's kiss.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. I am such a fan. I love both of your content so much, and I feel I learned so much listening to you, and just there's these interesting parasocial relationships that we're all making online as writers together. And I've been listening to your pod, and just I feel like I know you, even though this is our first time sitting down together. So
oh no,
so
we know
happy to be
you
here.
too. We know you too, because I know you because you crank out content better than any. Me and Nick will randomly be like, how the hell did he make this many videos in his car that are
and they're all doing so
thoughts?
well.
Yes.
Oh my God. I think it's like a hyperfixation. I honestly my friend, I have a friend, Eric Chang, who's also a writer and creator on TikTok. And he told me one day, he's like, I make 3 videos a day. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna make 5 videos a day. It was just just to kind of try, because I was like, oh, that's really wild that you make 3 a day. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to make 5, and I started doing 5. And then my goal is between 5 and 12 a day. I look at the rows. I try and do at least 2 rows, or
oh, I like that you do it by rows.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It's sick. And I've been trying to dabble a little more in the meme content as well, to try and fulfill the quota. But I feel around 6 videos is where I naturally sit to kind of put out content, which is
Do you have a notes thing written of 6 topics you want to talk about, or do you just have a lot of things on your mind and you can just kind of let it rip?
Oh, I will literally just have this long list, Mark Zuckerberg looks wet all the time, like the senator in X-Men.
That's accurate.
A few years ago, my ex started dating someone, and I was actually offended by the downgrade. So I'll just have it's just so many that I just have not done. So I have a list of things, and a list of buckets that I like to kind of pull from as well.
That's one of the things I really do love about your content. I think me and Nick, I'll just speak for myself. Sometimes I'm in a mood to rock a boat, and I'm I'm about to rock some effing boats and tell people that they're dumb. I just did a video on not Caroline Levitt, my God, Candace Owens, and I was like, I don't care, I'll rock that bitch's boat, I hate her. But sometimes the comments get too intense, and I'm like, oh, we're just gonna archive this one. You, I feel like, are like diving deep into like you can mentally handle it way better than me. Nick, I don't know about you.
Well, I feel like Nathan is the perfect combination of like the types of content Tepper and I make, because Tepper makes a lot of like socio-political content and film stuff, and then I make like just mostly film stuff. Because in the past I have made videos that are like, I can't handle the comments of
We
that
can't
part of
handle the
internet.
heat fully. We are getting out of the kitchen.
Yeah, but you do both. You do both
do
sides.
both.
Yeah.
No, I'm cooked. Like the heat has cooked me. Like it's pretty wild. And so it is interesting how you also like you cultivate a specific audience. So your audience almost mirrors you, but then sometimes your video does end up on the wrong side of like the TikTok. Like if you're talking about something broad, then you'll get that broad audience listening to you without context, and so
Yes.
of who you are, of how you speak, and then that's when it gets messy. Yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword, because that means that your content's reaching like an entire new audience, which is great in theory, but it can also be bad.
Sure.
Yeah. I saw this kid, Steven, who I love. He does like a lot of film analysis. I think he's super smart, but he was talking about a Howard Zinn book that I'm reading a different Howard Zinn book right now. And I was unaware that there was like a theory out there. Like Howard Zinn's like a very famous historian.
People's theory, or what's the book?
A People's History. Yeah.
Yes.
But people in his comments were like, Howard Zinn's a fraud and he's not a real historian. And I was just like, okay, I guess I'll like go Google that. And I was like, no, that's just like some weird internet conspiracy theory fodder. But it was all over his comments. And I was like, this is really stressful for me.
Yeah.
I guess
I'm Howard Zinn. Yeah.
Yes.
Howard Zinn part. Yes.
But like, that's how I feel sometimes when I look in like comment sections where like things just have gone rogue. And I just feel like you handle like I love that you have like your opinion like in the sand and you're like, yeah, this is the thing that I'm saying and I'm sticking with it.
Thank you. Yeah, it is interesting because I really feel like as creators, like we are creating our own little TV station, like when you're a creator on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, it's like, what is my programming? What is the audience I'm getting? What are the Nielsen ratings here? Like what are the demographics watching my content? Like it's a page for women. Like it's like that.
Is my show canceled?
Yeah,
exactly. Is my show canceled? Like when is it? When are the sweeps? Like what? Yeah, it's really wild. Is it more reality TV? Is it political pundit content? Is it like short storytelling? Like it really is like we are all these localized little stations, like beaming out our creativity to the world. And so yeah, and it proliferates. Like even this is like the meta of creation. And so I don't know, it's so cool. Like we're in a kaleidoscope.
When did you first decide to start posting videos, like a lot of videos, and putting effort into it, and why?
Yeah, so I was up for this big show on HBO Max, and it was pretty crazy, and it felt rich, and it was like I was like very far in the interview process, and they were like, oh yeah, we want you for this room, and I had I guess I done a little punch up on the first movie, and I was like I knew everybody, and I did end up getting the job because I don't think I was the right person for the job, but it really crushed me because after the writer's strike, it was just like there's no jobs, y'all. Like what are we doing? Like, and I had sold this true crime show to Sony, but then we did have Hulu attached, but then Hulu kind of fell apart, and so. I don't know if I'm supposed to even say any of this it's fine. It's fine. People will want to hear. People want to hear the specifics. And
yeah.
I was just kind of like, what am I doing with my life? And so my friend was running this little TikTok boot camp. Her name's Robin, and so I was like, you know what? Like, I hate being perceived, but like, I guess like my reps were like, you should try TikTok. So I was like, okay. So I started TikToking, and I had this weird like knack of like. Not to be like, yeah, like, but like my first TikTok, I talked about how I had this boyfriend. He was like my dream man, spoke 7 languages, had been to 30 countries, super hot CrossFit guy. He was a geneticist that turned into he just made an app that was like Yelp, but for your friends where you could send them recommendations. And he ghosted me. And he had like gotten a medal from Obama for his like work. He's like super, he moved to SF, and then he ghosted me. And I was like, this bitch. And like, I was so mad. And then he just kind of, he had moved to SF, and he cut everybody off. And then 3 months later, I was like, oh, like this restaurant would be great for his app. So I sent him the restaurant recommendation, and he didn't respond to me again. And then so I looked up his name and I looked up his app because his beta test was coming out, and his obituary came up. And it turned out he was doing CrossFit in SF, and someone blew through a stop sign and like hit him, and he had passed away. And so
my God.
I had been talking to a ghost for like 6 months. I was like resenting somebody that was like that had literally ghosted me, and this was like over 10 years ago. And so so that was my first TikTok, was like mining my trauma, and like but it resonated with people because it was like, oh, I kind of made it about, like I had put so much on this person, like to
like built it up.
Yeah, and to like carry all of like, oh, he doesn't like me because of this, he doesn't like me because of this, oh, I'm not good enough, oh, that's why I'm just a street rat bartender that like this guy's like too big for me. But it was like, no, like it's like I had made up all these negative feedback stories about myself, mirroring off this person who like quite literally like is no longer here. And so then I ended up writing a play about that won like a national playwriting competition. So it was this kind of like, I don't know, it's strange to that this person's, like the ripples of this person's existence has like helped me become a writer, and then do TikTok, and it's very interesting. And and so that's kind of, I was like, oh, I guess stories that I'm telling like are resonating with people. And so I continued to kind of do so. I tried to pull back on like the personal stuff, because it's kind of, I think Issa Rae said it's really, she kind of not regrets, but like it was a lot to kind of mine a lot of her life to, get her career off the ground. And I think she said if she would do it again, she's not quite sure. Don't quote me on that, but
on Issa Rae.
Really, yeah. That it really resonated with me, because I was just like, yeah, it is a lot to continue to mine your experience, because people don't want to see your like open wounds, they want to see like your cool scars. And so you never want to write from a place or share from a place that's traumatic in a way. I think TikTok is a little different, that sometimes like you connect to people through rawness, but I'm not 22 or even 60 on this app. I'm 38. So I should chill, yeah.
I feel like I follow a lot of influencers who like got famous for being so honest about like, I had a really sloppy night out, or like I'm hooking up with these 6 guys, and now they're like, adults and their frontal cortex is there, and they're like, I don't want to share that anymore. Like now I have to backtrack, and it's like really hard for their audience to be like, but like I liked all the stories and like I was relating to you, and it's like, you're just going to have to relate to something else, my thoughts maybe that are not my personal experiences.
Yeah.
By the way, I thought you were like 30 tops.
Oh, thank you. I think it's just all genetic. It's really like, it's genetic. And I do, let's see here. How many? I do 20 units of Botox, like once every 8 months. Cause I let it completely wear off.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I let it completely wear off because I have this like fear of like, what if my face will never move? And like, but so then like, I let it completely wear off and then go about my life for a bit. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just try a little dibble dab. But yeah, it's like,
so I'm assuming though you were always like, even as like a kid, like were you always outgoing, or is this like something, I guess I would say like your personality is giving outgoing, but you might be like quite an introvert.
Yeah, I definitely present like extroverted, but then like it's like almost like I like a booster kind of thing, and then like I do like sprints of like extrovert, and then like last night I just like sat at home and like got stoned and like watched 2 episodes of Physical 100 like by myself. this entire bag of kettle chips.
So it was a great night.
Yeah, so it was a perfect night. Yeah. I've saved the finale for this evening. So, yeah. But yeah, I guess growing up, I definitely like, I feel like extrovert like powers was kind of like used to like mask, like I grew up in small town Ohio, so it's kind of like,
Oh,
gotta dance, gotta shimmy and shake. Yeah. So
Wait,
yeah.
going back to the thing where you said that your reps told you to try out TikTok, was that like your lit reps or was that like a talent rep? Who said to do that? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm at UTA and 42 MP, and like UTA has like a
Digital
a
department.
digital department, which I actually like should message them and be like, hey, I'm doing. I don't even think they know I'm like. I don't think they know that I've done well on like social media. Like
Nick,
because
You can
Nick's
get through to them. Yeah,
Nick's at UTA too, but he's also not with their digital.
Yeah,
I'm not cool enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're cool enough. Like, which is like it's very strange because I've I think that when it comes to representation, like I'm a strong believer that like I feel like representation is kind of like getting Pokemon badges in Pokemon. Like you're the one that's doing all the battling. You are the one that's catching all the Pokemon. You gotta trek to the gym. You gotta go through all of the people, and then you gotta like fight the gym leader. And then once like your agents managers are the ones that like sit at the desk and then like print out the Pokemon badge for you. It's like it's like so like you are doing like everything, and then like the Pokemon badge is like the registrations that you can like go across that next bridge kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like I had already like sold a show, worked on like a major movie, done all that Mickey Mouse Club stuff and everything before even having any reps.
Okay, wait, then you need to explain how you did that because
because people always say to us like, oh, like how am I supposed to get the meeting? How am I supposed to
I can't do anything
people?
until an agent opens the door for me, and it's like that's just not the case.
Yeah, there's no doors like open right now. So I think what we're doing, we are we live in a doorless society right now, honey. Yeah. It's giving igloo. Yeah, it's like, and so it's because the industry was just different. Like I moved to LA in 2015 to 2016, and no, so 2016, and so when I moved here, it was just so like you could just go and like meet people. Like it was pre-pandemic, like you would go to like an event and there would be people there and you would talk to them. Like Jessica Gao, who like show ran She-Hulk, like she ran this like Asians in Entertainment monthly, like bar hangout like in K-Town every month, so you would literally go and like meet, actors and directors and writers and showrunners at these things. And so I mean, like, I don't know if that kind of world exists now that we're like all on Zoom and everything's digital, like everything feels a little more siloed off. But yeah, I was very lucky. I went to Ohio University, the #2 party school in America, but there happened to be one other guy that I knew, a good friend of mine, Patrick, who was working at Maker Studios. It was this kind of
like YouTube, right?
Yeah, where like YouTubers could use the studios and like pay in kind of thing. And they wanted a sketch comedy show. And so I ended up he submitted a packet for me to the show. And so I ended up becoming a writer on that show, like I felt very fortunate, kind of thing. And then they ended up getting bought by Disney, this entire company. And so they dissolved all of us. But I saw that they were going to be doing like a Mickey Mouse Club reboot. And so like I like emailed like an exec that was still at the company that got moved. And she's like, oh my God, I'm actually going to be working on that. Like, do you want to interview? And I was like, yes. And then so I went in and then they were like, oh, actually, we don't want to hire you. And I was like, okay, can I be a PA? Like, can I just be a volunteer? Like, I taught for 4 years. I know there's going to be like, young people, like I'll know how to talk to them or whatever. Like, can I just like be an unpaid intern on this show? And they were just like, okay, yeah, sure, I guess, like, why not? You can just, like, tag along. And so, because I'd worked with them before, and then they wanted, like, it to be this variety show, and then like it became a reality show instead. So that's why I didn't like. They were like, "Oh, we don't need a writer. We're just gonna do a reality show." I was like, "You're gonna still need a story producer. Like, you're crazy." But
Right.
and then they wanted to get music from this like very big music producer, and he said no. And then they're like, okay, great, we're just going to get some like rights to some covers. And then they like Universal Music was like, no, you can't just do Bruno Mars, like Disney, get the fuck out. And so they had no music, and they were starting the show in 2 days. And so I was just like, oh, I write music. And they didn't have time to like hire any real, like they wanted like real songwriters. But I was just like, I've written like all these parody sketches before that like have been nominated for, awards. Like, I'll write the music. You can pay me like basically nothing, but like I just want to like do anything. And they were like, okay, you can like submit. So I submitted 2 tracks, and then they ended up like going with them. And they were like just like horrible like notes app, like playing piano and singing songs, and they ended up going with those. And so like ended
Oh,
up writing half the music for the Mickey Mouse Club reboot, and then ended up kind of like working on that way. And then I did what's called the Cape Writers Program, which is like an Asian writing fellowship, and so that's kind of what also helped as well. So
What
a
did you
lot
have
of
to
like
submit for that, for the Cape? Did you have
yeah
something
so
already prepared?
so so they do feature and TV, and like, I don't know, Tepper, I really like resonate with what you said in the last pod, where you're just like, I don't really remember things. I like do a lot of substances. I was just like, oh, that I really resonate with that. It's because I didn't even realize, I was like, what am I submitting? Like, I had no clue. And so I was like, a feature TV, like I had written just this play at the time. And so I was like, okay, and so I just wrote a feature in like 7 days. And just kind of was like, I don't know, I submitted it, and I got it. But then I get the interview, and they're like, okay, we loved your feature. Like, it's very like Little Miss Sunshine, like, road trip movie kind of thing, but Asian family. And then like, but they were like, gee, what? So I was like, yeah, but I actually want to do TV. And they're like, oh, do you have a TV sample? And I was just like, yes. What if I say yes? And then they were like, okay, great. Can you send us one? Like, can you send us one when you get home? And like, it was like, I think my meeting was at like 3 p.m. and I was like, oh yeah, I have to go work after this, but I can send it to you like at 10 p.m. And so
you just wrote it.
so I like went to a coffee shop right next to like the CW building where the meeting was at. And I just wrote a spec script for Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And then and then I sent it to them, and they were like, oh my God, this is so good. But we need like an original spec. And so they're like, and I was like, oh,
Give me
yeah,
till
yeah.
midnight.
This is the biggest trial by fire that I've ever heard.
Yeah. I was like, and it was like midnight. I was like, oh, I don't have that. I'll just do the feature program if you'll still have it. And they're like, okay, great. So they didn't get a lot of like features that year. And I think like I've really kind of relied on, like being a character, and like it is weird how that like the soft skills of being a writer will oftentimes like it gets me into trouble, but also like it can get you into rooms that you wouldn't normally get into if you're kind of more like, I want to rely just on my writing and my voice and like let that speak for itself. Where I'm like, I'm going to rely on my shoulders moving, like and I can rely on a little bit of the neck, like it's like, and so yeah, it's very, very bizarre. Yeah.
By the way, I have a Netflix meeting next week for like an animated musical thing that we've been trying to push for a long
Yes.
time. And if they ask me like, okay, this is great, but like, what about the music? I'm going to say, well, actually I have award-winning writer, director, songwriter, Nathan Ramos-Park. He's going to do all the music. He's incredibly talented, blowing up on social media. So that'll be my
Let's go.
That you're hooked.
Absolutely.
You're like, I've got it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let me know who you're meeting with, and maybe I can
will.
also help. Yeah. Blow,
So-
like
Yeah.
So
blow
then
you
what
up, yeah.
happened after Cape is a fellowship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what
So
happens after you do
basically-
that?
So basically, like you just get you meet with like reps. There at our year, they had like a possibility where you could develop with DreamWorks like Asia, and which I didn't get either of those things, but
which is often the outcome.
For
Of
sure.
these. Yeah.
Because I think like oftentimes when you do these fellowships, like they want you to like literally like write about your traumatic experience in life and like give us Joy Luck Club, you know, part 13. And like my writing is so like, I always say like my writing is like I'm holding a gun to your head, but I'm also jerking you off and I'm like telling you a secret. But like we're robbing a bank, so we got to be real quiet, and so you can't laugh, you know. So like you get this like edging, euphoric, dangerous, comedic feeling when you read my work, kind of thing. But it'll be like, you know, like
I need to read something. I don't know what this feeling could all encompass. I need to read it so that I can feel it. Yes, that's amazing.
Yeah, and so like at the time, like, you know, it's like when the first scene is like, these gays are at an orgy, and then, you know, like, but like someone took their shoes, you know, like, and it's like, and it's just like, and it's, you know, it's, yeah, it's, I think that they didn't really know where to place me. Like, it's like they're not, and where to, you know, like, how should, you know, I'm not very like model minority in my approach to writing, which like, I think if you look at a lot of it, I'm not dragging any Asian at all. I love every Asian in the writing industry. Well, that's a lie, but but I think that like there is a pipeline for Asians where it's like do really well in school, write a spec about something that is like really kind of like maybe cool, but a little dry in a way. And then, or it's like, right, like cut yourself open and tell us about like your biggest like familial trauma. And I'm not really sure if I like really land in either of those realms. And so I've been, having to try and kind of like maneuver. So yeah, after Cape, I ended up, there was a showrunning duo, a married duo that they wanted to, or they were contacted by a big K-pop company to do a K-pop script. And so they had interviewed people to kind of come on board that were K-pop experts. And so that's how I sold like my second show at Netflix. Yeah.
And was that after? Was that after? Because you made a video saying that you met for K-pop Demon Hunters as well, right? Or you were supposed to go to the meeting, but you didn't go, or something like that.
Yeah, there was this exec that like I like met with the exec on Spider-Man, and he was amazing. And then he's like, "Oh my God, we have this other project you should meet on." He like gave me the materials. I came up with a pitch. But I maybe even like that was in like 2017. So I mean, I probably looked much younger than I do now. And so I like go into the room and like Maggie, the director's there, and like this exec was maybe no one was aligned on the meeting, and she thought it was just a general. The exec thought it was just a general like to like meet me, and so I was just like, and so she's like, "Okay, it's so nice to meet you. All right, we'll see you later." And I was just like, do I like pitch this entire movie that you told me to like pitch, or do I? And like she's just like, and like she was already like, "Oh, like is the next meeting like we have like she already was like, I gotta go," and I was just like, all right. And then so I just like left, and then like the executives like, we're so sorry, there was like wires crossed or like whatever. And so yeah, I like have a whole like my own idea of like what K-pop Demon Hunters like could have been, like, you know, like if I would have had the chance to pitch it. But it's such a funny world, because it's like, yeah, I think like I've since then worked on I think like 10 K-pop projects. So it was like what kind of got the ball rolling in a way. Yeah.
What about since you've started posting on Instagram and TikTok? What kind of opportunities have come, and how has that impacted your writing career? Because that's what people ask us a lot, and then I usually say like, yeah, it's like helped me so much, and then they're like, but has it actually gotten you a job?
Yeah, have you been paid? And I'm like, oh, I have been technically.
You don't just get handed the money,
but just as a showrunner assistant.
No, that is huge. Do not say, never say just. I just heard from the WGA there was an executive story editor that just took a showrunner's assistant position, and like that's the industry. Kind of where we're at. There was a meeting where they were just talking about, you know, how many jobs there are, and there's just there's not a lot of
There aren't.
jobs. So yeah. But it was really wild to kind of hear the numbers. And just to kind of hear how everyone feels like they're getting shifted down. Like, if you're an upper level writer, you're taking mid-level jobs. So many mid-level creators are being told that they're only being offered staff writer position. And so it is looking a little wild. But I did get like 3 jobs from TikToking.
Wow.
And one is paying all of my bills right now. So I mean, I'm like
That's amazing.
so grateful for TikTok. And it's just really strange because like we get kind of like stuck in the mud about like, oh my God, like my last 20 videos aren't doing well, or like, oh, like what am I doing on here?
They
Like I
changed the
feel like
algorithm.
exactly they changed the algorithm, or like my like no one's really watching it, but like people are, like people that matter. Like I maybe you have like low views on some videos, but like I don't. I've watched every single one of both of your videos, like
Oh,
front to back, like just because like it gives you the periphery, but it gives you like who are the core people that are really watching, and who are you building those real like connections with, and so I try not to get caught up in the numbers. Of course, it's very nice when they pop and then you get, like creator fund money or whatever, but like that's so small in comparison to like the actual like networking that is happening online. So I've also gotten like even like TikTok like kind of opportunities as well, like creator opportunities as well. So which I would love to even send you both. Like they were like, oh, like do you have any other people that are like interested in like this kind of platforming? Because I just got contacted by like PBS has a program where you can like create stuff, and so
I'm watching a PBS. It's a document. I just watched a Frontline PBS documentary and had just randomly made a video, and then they reached out and they were like, we have this new documentary coming up, like why don't you watch this? But like to what you were saying, like the video, one of the videos that I got like the most like connections meetings out of, it had, which like this is so bratty, it only had like 4,000 views, and I was like, that video bombed, I hate that video. But it ended up being literally like the most impactful to like actual industry world things. And I think like reframing always, like the other I don't know, Nick, you follow Horace, I love him.
He was just in an episode of I Love LA.
Yes, I need to watch it. Yes, but he posted, he was like, imagine like if you only have 18 likes, but imagine like 18 people in a room like wanting to hear what you say. Like that really is a lot more than like I think the internet lets you feel when you think you've bombed.
1,000%. It doesn't matter. Like I think that even like viewer, like all those views, like those metrics, like people are getting less and less like wrapped up in as well. Like it's like, well, this is the creator I like. It, like they will stay if you've built the audience, like they will stay and watch your video, kind of thing. So
yeah. And like Tubi, because they have this new creator initiative they're doing for making content with creators, and their CEO was on the town, and she was like, we don't really care about, I mean, they don't have the money to go after like the people with 10 million followers, but also she was like, we don't really care about that. We care about just dedicated fans, or people who have like an audience that cares about what they have to say. So yeah, I feel like it's less important than ever. Even when I go to film festivals, people who are getting influencer badges, some of them have like under 10K followers, but they have cool videos, So it's like, it's cool that even that matters less now.
And do you still post? Do you feel like you like Instagram or TikTok more right now? Me and Nick are feeling very strongly about things.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's kind of almost like where like growth kind of like ebbs and flows, I feel. And I do feel like, you know what it is? This is my women's intuition here. and I think it's that like when TikTok, like when you grow really like steadily, and like, TikTok is its own beast kind of thing, but we've really been focusing on TikTok. And so sometimes the growth can feel like it plateaus until it can pop again. Whereas Instagram, I feel like the audience is changing. Like the audience is finally adapting reels. And so they think that like the growth potential is just it's just bigger because people are
Yeah.
finally starting to kind of like lock in and listen on Instagram. And so it's interesting. Like, I think it took a while because like, yeah, I think when I first started posting on Instagram, like the vibes were vile. Like it was just like people were just
Heinous.
like, it felt very, yeah, like, Gen X boomer, like in kind of like who watches. And then like, but I think that like I just kept posting and like the algorithm did kind of click in. Um, and so it's interesting. I don't know. Like I think TikTok and I have like a very like abusive relationship. Whereas like Instagram, I already like left you, like we are exes, but like we do have a child together. So like I do need to see you like twice a week to like drop off the kids. And like that's fine. We can be cordial and like move on. And sometimes you get that spark with your ex and you're just like, wait, could we come back together? And then you're like, oh no, you see their apartment, you're like, no, 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 no. That is just like my toxic, like need to be wanted. Like it's actually not amazing here. So that's like how I feel. Whereas TikTok, it's like a coworker that like you don't agree on anything, but like you somehow get the work done, kind of thing. And so like, yeah, I don't know, but it's kind of like where if your goal is like, like I want to be in TV film, like I think like Reels is a great place to kind of proliferate your work because I think like more execs and producers are like on the, like
Unfortunately.
mature side. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Were you
they're more,
posting to both platforms from the get-go?
no, I was like, I'm
Same.
gonna keep my Instagram me, like do not look at me. Like this is my,
Yes.
it's hard. It's like now that like, yeah, now that like my Instagram is growing, like I can't just put like, I love posting a thirst trap. Like I just like love just being like, look at me at the gym. But like now I can't just like, and it's like it was like for my ops, like it's just like 'cause I had like lost 50 pounds and I was just like there was a guy who was like, oh, you're hot now. He like hit me up and he goes, oh my God, you're so hot now. And I was just like, now?
Yeah,
And so
I got
it
that
was,
from high school to college. I like came back to I went off to college and then I came back home to my hometown and like two of my guy friends were like, "Oh, you're like hot now." And I was just like, the rudest thing actually.
yeah,
Like actually the
it's,
meanest thing you can say. I'm going to make
yeah.
you my enemy from now on.
Yeah, yeah. I've been devastated. Yeah. And so I'm just like, that's what Instagram is for. Instagram is for to get personally devastated by all the people that you've hooked up with, but still follow you. Like it is not like my platform was never meant to be like a public sharing platform, and now it is, and it's interesting to kind of also maybe withdraw a little bit from social media because of that, which I think is healthy in a way that it feels like, okay, I have this like now like almost like persona or brand that I put up in between me and an audience, but then it kind of does keep me away, like a little bit like more distant from like people are like, oh, what is he doing? What is he up to in his life, kind of thing. Because I think that was the best part of social media is like someone sees a picture of you, in Korea, and then you're like, oh my God, you went to Korea, and then you get to connect to people. But then I think I'm posting more incidental things much less now.
Yeah.
Do most like film and TV meetings that you go to nowadays does the meeting open with someone saying, "Oh, I've seen your videos," or do people know you through your videos now?
Yeah, which is really, it's definitely, I think it's mostly a positive because if they're meeting with me, then they are probably agreeing with my content. And I find that people that watch, like they mostly don't really like see any videos that flop. They only see you at your best self in a way. And so I think that that's actually really helpful. And then it really does help like when they feel that you're an expert at something, so like whether it is, like K-pop or the Asian experience or the gay experience, like you're kind of giving them your like resume or ideas before they meet you. And then sometimes you'll be in a meeting and they'll be like, oh wait, what about that thing that you talked about, that other video? Like there was an exec who we met with, and like I was just like, yeah, I write this thing. And they're like, okay, but what about that TikTok about like, like, cause I do a lot of like eat the rich content. And then they had like asked, they're like, oh yeah, are you ever going to do anything with that, like all those things. And I was like, oh yeah, maybe that's a good idea. And so I think people that get inspired by any of your content, you never know what they're going to want to, be drawn toward.
Well, that's like kind of watching you and like Caleb Heron. I was kind of like, maybe I do need to stop being so scared of sharing my very strongly worded opinions, because like most of the time you do find people who resonate, and like that is actually kind of where my crossover of writing lands. And so I'm trying to be a little bit more braver like you guys, but it's scary.
You're amazing. And the fact that you even just said my name with Caleb Heron's name is crazy work. I'm like, okay, now we're done. Yeah. Yeah, that's like, oh my God, I really appreciate it. And I feel the same way. Anytime you say something, I'm just like, oh, spot on. Like I can't, it is that what the thing about TV film to me is like, we always say, it's such a TV film thing to say, like, oh my God, I can't wait until we work together. I can't wait until we work together. But like, I think social media, it's just like, well, we're literally doing this right now. Like we are like creating, connecting, and like, yeah, like having a moment together. But then it's also like, it's helping a community, it's helping, like us. And so, yeah, I think that we are doing like what our intent is, to tell stories and to connect deeply to people and to resonate with people. And I think like the meta is like, our journeys are now, for better or worse, like being broadcast to people. And so this is part of that story and journey, is like, we are the product and the content in a way, and the characters. Yeah.
And it is interesting. I feel like so many people I want that are in the industry that are like pretty established or like kind of struggling, because everyone's struggling right now, are now trying to like almost backwards work this into their lives as well.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Is your long-term goal, like, is your plan just to use social media to help your film and TV career, or do you also have aspirations to sort of just the social media stuff on its own?
Nick, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? Like that's the question that we're all facing right now.
Yeah.
Like you both aren't getting these audiences by accident. Whether you want it or like it or not, like people are drawn to your energy, your voice, how you think about things. And we want the people to, connect to that in our writing, like how, but for better or worse, they're connecting to us in this medium. And so it is kind of like, hey, I want to do this thing. And the industry that we want to be in right now, I don't know if it's sustaining really anyone. Like if Amy Poehler is making a podcast, that means like that should stress us out, because it's just like, if Amy Poehler can't sell a comedy, then like, what am I doing? Why am I trying? Kind of thing. And so if like if Tina Fey is just waiting for Lauren to like step down so that she can then like take over SNL, like, but she's not really doing anything in the meantime, like how am I supposed to sell a show? And so I think I'm trying to kind of let all avenues like really like let the water flow into all the cracks to me right now, because like there's just not a lot of water. And so like the water is always going to go the path of least resistance down a pathway. And so like if that means like, like I just got asked about this PBS thing, there was another incubator that had contacted me. So I'm like, okay, I guess like this is like going in this way, and I can like all my material is already written, and like I guess I'll still write some more specs, but like if my reps are just like, hold on, diva, like hold on, like we're already having to wait until after like MLK weekends, so like to even like really go to meetings, like next week is Thanksgiving, or and then like it's December, which will be very quiet, and then like the people are waiting for Sundance, and so it's like okay, like the industry resumes after Sundance. So like, until then, I'm not going to stress out about like being a writer. Like I think people like Audrey writes, like she has just recently gotten on TikTok and is already doing very well, and she was like in traditional, like broadcast TV for years.
I love her videos. She did CW stuff, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, what a prime
yeah,
time to have
I
existed in
know.
this industry.
Yeah,
God.
my dream. And so it's like, yeah, even like that, like it's for an example like this, we love CW shows. Like, there's no space for that anymore because like far right religious organization like bought like CW. And
Yes.
so where do we tell those stories now? Like, and it almost like, yeah, you just had that Spencer guy who does like those horror shorts, and like what happens if people do like a CW-esque shorts on Vertical? Like that's
Mhm.
that is like that's kind of where we're at right now. I feel yeah,
Yeah, I feel like we're all waiting for the person that can. I think Brooklyn Coffee Shop has already cracked that version of a vertical, but
Mhm.
and
yeah,
like that shit show is really funny as like a workplace
yes,
Yes,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
think we're all waiting for someone to crack some type of like quality thrillery drama, like the CW aspect. And I haven't seen it yet. Maybe it exists or someone's making it right now and ahead of the game.
yeah. It's it's almost CW is almost like group chat. Like there was so much drama, or like who the F did I marry? Like
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
there is this like long, but it's like, yeah, if you just kind of actualize it, because it's like it's interesting, there's still a gap between professional TV film writers that want to work within the system to create a specific product that looks a certain way, that feels a certain way, and there's like TikTok creators that are like putting a dish rag on their head and like
Yes.
that's my long hair, like. And
Yes.
so it's like we're gonna see those things like slowly move together, because I have a friend who just got that, who sold a show to Tubi, and it's like her YouTube content kind of thing. And
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
she was doing
Wow.
sketches about her, like, and she's now one of those Tubi creators. I mean, and she has like, I don't know, I think like 10 million followers on YouTube now because of it. And so, but it's like specific content that's catered towards, like, she's like, I'm gonna really focus on like I don't know, like the 6 to 12 age range of YouTubers, and she's gonna make this like kids show, and she did. So,
That's
yeah,
actually genius because I was just complaining. My niece is 10. She only
yeah,
watches reruns of Dance Moms. And I was like, is there like no show, like TV content you watch? And she's like, I like Wednesday. And I was like, oh
mm,
God, we are in trouble for your age range of like existence. Like
yeah,
I got to watch Hannah Montana. Um,
mhm,
and like I'm like so like I feel like now they have to go out to find this Tubi creator that is actually doing it already and then almost make it into a mainstream option.
But the
yeah,
creators who are also talent, like people who do skits, people who are comedians, actors, like I feel like it puts us we are in a different camp as like the writers slash creators.
Unfortunately.
I mean, unlike us, like Nathan has actual talents, but in general, like
Literally.
we are
no,
our
no, no,
videos like our videos get us in the door, but we don't make the type of content that's like, okay, we can buy that and turn it into a show, right? It's more like it's kind of a different thing, and like writer talk is, I think that's why it's a much more narrow
Well, I
like
I think that's
pool
what's so
of people
interesting.
who
It
do this.
is. My friend Mackenzie Barman like she writes her own content. I think it's been, but that's like kind of what I love
Oh yeah,
about
yeah.
like Nathan, like whatever your like thought is and like the timely, socioculture thing that you're saying, like that is actually like what could be the show. Like that Caro girl wrote a trad
mm,
wife book
Mhm.
yesteryear, and then it's going to be a movie, but she's just obsessed on
wow,
TikTok about trad wife culture. Like it all
yeah.
stems from your own
Mhm.
ideas to a point if you can figure it out like
Mm.
you have.
And I don't think that you
Yeah.
should. I think that you're not feeling or seeing your full potential as like a full creator in this moment. Because when I think of you, I don't think of writer. I think of like, I trust you more than everybody
Mhm.
on NPR. Like, that's the reality. It's like you are my NPR now, because you are my like I don't really care about like like Siskel and Ebert, Roger Ebert, or whatever, like all these like variety, like like, I don't care about you, Variety. Like, it's like, like all of these places, like you both are the places where I get my information and so like when we're thinking about like our own growth trajectories, like we're often trying to think about ourselves in these like black and white boxes, but like you really live in the gray, and it seems like you've lived in the gray for like your entire, like careers, and like, which is like, that's the most malleable, like that's like that quantum space where you can really flip to anything. Like you are actually way more malleable, and you're actually filling in spaces that need to be filled in. And so what you're really what I'm hearing you're asking versus like, oh, like how do I do this? We're really asking about like monetization, like how do I get paid for like what I'm already showing you that I'm really good at. And I think it is kind of like looking at some of these different, like it's like, a friend who's like a Chinese immigrant here, like we had gotten dinner, and like he was like, oh, your TikTok's going well. And I was just like, oh, thanks. And he's like, yeah, he's like, what do you actually want to do with your life? And I was just like, I was like, I don't know, like, yeah, how dare you, and so, but then he was just like, well, like, he's like, have you ever thought about like being a politician? Because like you like politics so much. And I was just like, that's crazy. Like, no, and like, no, I would never. But like, it just him saying that made me empowered to be like, oh, this is a part of like my.
Yeah, like that perception is a reality.
Yes. Yeah. So it's like, he's like, well, you're good at this. So like, yeah, just keep on like leaning in. But it's just like what we're all doing in happenstance, it's just like, it's like, Nick, I know you could run like a studio or a production company better than literally anybody I know.
People
Like,
ask him. That is literally a meeting he has.
This is the new thing now. Yeah.
But like, like Tepper, I can feel like you have, the problem is like you both have like more skills than is usually required for just TV film writers. And like, that's why you've both built what you've built. And so there is this kind of like, oh, I'm building a platform for my writing, but like the writing is just a matter of time. Like literally like all those big people like who make millions of dollars, like, yeah, why is there not another Shanta show even like that we're excited about? Like where is the new Ryan Murphy show? Like nobody's making work. And so if you're thinking of like what you're doing, no, you've created an incredible platform, and like people in this industry, whether we like it or not, are weirdly looking up to us as like the people who are like, changing, because like, and like it is that kind of thing where like the what we want will come, but we are like kind of Donkey Konging across vines this way to like climb up this way to go across this way, and like, you're hopping from lily pad to lily pad. And
that was such an inspiring like therapy session.
Yeah, you both are doing great. Like,
well, also like,
yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, Nick, I think you would have won your Fantastic Fest pitch on your own, but I definitely think you have like.
You're talking about the comment that said, I only won this because of my following.
No, I didn't actually see that, but I do think you had your pitch was like built so smartly, and like I feel like you're so confident about what you know about horror, and I think what you want to, the story you want to tell, because like these tools like TikTok is a practice. It's the same as like how I loved an improv class. I think like you have used it to like master like your skill set, how you tell a story, which is like, I think Nathan, you do that so well, where I'm like, this is how you tell a story. Like you start here and then you flip it right here. And then this is the surprise. Like those are all skills. I think
pitch, yeah.
Yes. Such a good, both of you are such good pitchers. That's why like everyone wants your.
Now we're all just like reassuring each other that we're all like super
that's
talented.
what this is about.
But I also feel like it is important, even if this stuff we're doing leads us into other paths, like I think it's important to go where people are interested, because even if it's not like your most passionate thing, like I took out a spec earlier this year and I was like, this is going to be the thing that everyone's talking about this year and help my career. And like, it didn't do that. But like all my biggest and most important meetings this year were people who hadn't read any of my samples and didn't even ask to read them. They just wanted to talk about my videos. And I was like, damn, that's insulting. I'm a writer and you don't even care about that. But it's like, it's still, people are interested. So it's like, it's still doing something. It's just different, and I think it's, like you said, it all leads to other things, but it is bizarre to be a writer and be talking to somebody who doesn't really seem all that interested in your writing, but they like the videos where you talk about writing.
Mhm.
Okay, so Nathan, I hate to ask this though, but like,
Yeah.
what if your next like 5 years, 5 years is way too big. That's crazy. If your next year like went the exact way you want, like what would you be really excited to do?
I think that I actually got inspired by your last pod, and I think I want to try and push into bringing the studio to me is like my 20s 26 mantra. Bring the studio and
I
producer
love
to
that.
me. So like if I want to make like a BL is Boy Love is a #1 like watched thing in Asia by women, and it's just like gay men's love stories. And so like it's just like, okay, like why do I just not make a vertical? Like it's just like make a vertical, like just do it, like
Mm-hmm.
if I want to be financially stable, then like I need to do YouTube. So like start a pod or a YouTube, whatever that is. Like, like
Mm-hmm.
even if it's just like more long form of like of my video, I take a topic and then I go long form in it. Like even just still filming on my iPhone, just having somewhere else for people to land. And then yeah, I think so. It's just like to me, it's like YouTube and make a vertical. And because like the industry, it's like if I start making my own vortex, like my own kind of like riptide pool, then like people sailing along the river where the water is naturally taking all of us are gonna get pulled into
Yeah.
my little stream kind of thing. And so I think it's like what to, if I want to be a TV film writer, then like I need to, and like there's no platform for me to do it, then like we have to kind of like create that for ourselves in a way. And like if people do really like us and like want to kind of, buy in, and then we give them incentive to buy in by like having a good product, then like or a good story, then like they will come, So like even this is like them. This is the reality show of us then making like an end thing. So it's very interesting and meta.
The crazy thing to me is that, early on we had Adam Faze on the podcast, and he had a great quote that he said, like, if you were to offer some young kid who has a huge following a TV show, he wouldn't be interested because he'd be like, well, I already have this audience. I already have a show that I'm making
Yeah.
on my phone. And so you have people that potentially have the opportunity to explore crossing over who, yeah, I don't think are really that interested, which is why places like Tubi, like they're going out and trying to grab them. And then you have people like you who have worked a ton in the industry who are also like not really interested in the industry as much anymore. Like I want to do my own thing and
Right.
then not worry about that right now. But then you have Hollywood that's like, oh, I mean, it's not literally this, but basically like, oh, the creators are going to be the life preserver right now, or we need to do something. Everyone's talking about digital. We have to do something. But then it's like the creators have their own stuff going on. So I don't know. It's an interesting, I'm not saying I feel bad for Hollywood, but it is interesting.
Well, I think
Yeah,
like the well, I would say we all have the opportunity. Like Nathan, if you do your vertical, like you are going to be giving up a reality show of how the hell you got it done. And I think people are so obsessed with that like honesty that like I think that's such a like a leg up we already have. Like if we all decide tomorrow that we're all starting our verticals, it's like we kind of know that we should be recording everything. We should be talking about how it's getting done. And then
Mhm.
the doing it, you've already built an audience to want to watch the thing.
yeah, yeah. I think that we're already kind of like we're all swirling towards like the inevitability of like becoming independent producers, and then
Mhm.
like because the people that in Hollywood are old, like they don't really they don't understand like, oh, 100, 100K plus people follow you or whatever, like they just kind of are like whatever. And then once you build it, I do think that they will come kind of thing. And one random thing, that's the funny thing about all TikTokers, I feel that like are creatives in real life, we all have like so many tattoos, and
Guys, I
it's
have
so
none.
funny.
I
Like,
have
yeah,
none.
Yes.
none.
Yet. And I almost got one in
Yes.
Thailand and then I chickened out because my friend cried during it. they were doing like the like literal like
the tap tattoos. Yeah.
Yes, and I was watching her and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Those
God,
are
it was-
I
intense.
find
Yeah.
it comforting.
Yeah.
I trust people with tattoos way more than I trust non-tattooed people. Always.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Um,
Well, I hate to cut like it short, but I would love to like if we can like just I have to run to this other
That
meeting, but
we have just one question that can we ask you one
Yeah,
question?
of
Okay.
course.
The one question is we just like to ask one, you just have to answer one of them, a high, low, or a hell no of working in this industry, like an experience you had where you're like, don't ever give a lesson to somebody.
Ugh. A hell no is you are always at the behest of the ego of who you're working with. And so sometimes you can have a really great, benevolent, thoughtful person running the ship. And sometimes they are expelling their demons onto you daily. And maybe this is not so much as in the industry at all, but having your North Star and your North Star will kind of melt away like this job is everything. Like this job is always just a conduit to let you express something. And really so I was working on the show and they told me, oh my God, it's going amazing, like you're doing an amazing job. And then when things got stressful, they then like basically threw my episode under the bus and they're like, oh well, Nathan actually like there's so much work that needs to be done in this episode and like that's why we're behind. And so instead of like taking responsibility for like the ship, like they put it on me. And then it really scarred me for years because I was like, did I do a bad job? Like, did I mess this up? But then I had sent like the episode because they had sent in, I don't care if they hear this, but they sent in like a revised pilot of like my revised pilot. And then I read it and I was like, this is crazy that like, this is way worse than like what I wrote. And so then I sent my pilot secretly to two people in the room and they both like completely agreed. They're
Wow.
like, we will back you. We completely agree. Like they just don't want to like, take on the response shoulder to the network and the studio that they're the reason why we're behind. And so I had this fear that my career was going to be over. I think that this is like the hitting the nails that you're going to feel like your career is over every single time, every day. You're never going to feel security and you're going to always be like, oh my God, my career is over because of this. But it's because like this industry pulls you so deeply into the weeds that you're like sniffing every root. And so you just got to like sit back and like your cortisol levels is like what you have control over in this situation. That like you have to kind of like weather these bumps and like people will be very kind to you and people will be unkind. And so don't let the very kind people like let you have your guard come down and don't let the unkind people make it so that you leave something that you decided that you love because you decided that you love this. And these people are not the part that you decided to love. And so if you decide to love this, then just then nurture that love, not the parts that hurt you, I think.
Damn.
That was beautiful.
Well said. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. You go to your next meeting. I'm sure we're going to talk soon. We'll all have to grab a drink IRL.
Yes, please. Let's meet in real life. I would love to do that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
so much.